What's up everyone, Clark Glassford, founder of My Practice Interview. We help you land your dream job, and today we're talking about how to practice for the interview. And some of you are like, I've watched your videos, Clark, you talk about practicing for the interview all the time. No, what I actually talk about is preparation and laying all the foundational work to get to practicing, to eventually get to the interview, to rock your interview. So I want to talk about the difference of your preparation and then focus on how you practice. So let's do a little recap here. What's involved in your preparation? Well, it's all about skills identification, identifying the different competencies that the job is looking for, the different questions they could be asking, writing out your responses, and preparing that way with proper written examples, researching the organization. That's all your preparation. Now, for those of you who haven't seen those videos, don't worry, I've got them in the links below. I've listed a couple of videos that I want you to follow. Watch those at the end of this one to learn about the perfect steps to start your preparation. So the difference here is with practice, you're actually now practicing for your interview. As part of the preparation process, and this is maybe a little repeat for some of you, but it's all about identification of competencies and what it is the employer is looking for in terms of your technical skills and behavioral skills. So the recap on this one is, on the technical side, every job has technical skills that an employer wants from you. So whether you're applying for a chef job, an accounting job, a lawyer job, a human resource professional job, whatever it is, there are some technical requirements they're going to want. Those are definitely on the job posting. On the other side are the behavioral skills. So those are more the soft skills. There are certain key skills that employers want employees to have, such as communication skills, initiative, leadership, decision-making, things like that. So you want to look at those and identify those prior to getting to your practice. When you start getting into your practice, each of those competencies, I want you to come up with 2 examples of where you've demonstrated those skills from your past work experience. That's how you start your preparation and you move it into the practice part of your interview. So how do you practice? Really simple. I've got 5 key steps. It's the recipe, the perfect recipe for success with your practice. First one is write out your answers. Now, I know a lot of people like to think of answers in their head and just kind of mull them around in their head, and that's how they prepare for the interview and start practicing. No, writing them out is a way to see them on paper, see how they're coming across, looking at and giving the hard look at your examples and making sure that the example that you've written down is your best example. If it's not your best example, and best way to say, look at me, this is how awesome I am at this particular skill, throw it out, come up with a different example. And it's easy to do that when you see it on paper. It also allows you to reword your example as well in bullet point form to make sure you're covering off all the key aspects of that example, highlighting the skill that the employer is looking for. So write out your answers to the questions that you think an employer is going to be asking you. Practice out loud. So really simple. When you've now got your examples listed out, practice saying them out loud. There's a big difference to what you hear in your head to what comes out of your mouth. There's tone, there's grammar, there's inflection. Those things are really key in how you deliver really powerful responses. And as you say them out loud, it helps you hear little things that maybe you didn't mean to get across to the employer, or maybe you've said something that you shouldn't have said and you want to take that back. By practicing out loud, you can get all that down, but also by practicing out loud, it builds that confidence. You hear yourself, you hear your tone, you hear everything about how you're delivering it, and it builds that confidence as you go. Next tip here is flashcards. So yeah, that's right, simple, old school flashcards. Write out questions that you think an employer is going to ask in that interview, and then practice saying out your response. It's that simple. So there we go, flashcards. That's what I've got. Tell me about yourself. There's a question that could be asked in an interview. Describe a time you took initiative. Why should we hire you? Those are flashcards with questions, and as you go through those flashcards, you practice saying out loud your response to those. The trick here is every time you go through that exercise, mix them up. Just put them in different order. And then whatever comes up first, that's what you answer, and you follow them through, because interviews aren't created equal. You probably won't get the exact questions you've been practicing for in the interview in the exact order you've been practicing for them, but you will have examples based on your practice, and you'll be able to tailor your examples to make sure that you're answering the question. It's a really, really powerful way of practicing and getting your examples out loud. Next tip here is, once you've done all that, record yourself, okay? Recording yourself with your cell phone or a camera that you have is a very effective way so you can see how you're coming across in that interview. Interviews are all about first impressions. So I've got another video, I'll link it below here as well, about powerful first impressions in the interview. And as you know, hiring managers have big turnoffs if applicants are doing certain things in the interview that first impression, the way they're coming across, will make or break whether they want to consider them or really listen to the answers that they're giving. So things like smiling. 37% of hiring managers across North America have said, if someone's not smiling, someone's kind of going like this and talking kind of monotone, that turns them off. They're out. 37%. So you want to make sure when you're practicing on camera, when you're recording yourself, you're practicing using enthusiasm, expression, smiling. Those types of things are key that you pick up on. 67% of hiring managers say no eye contact. So if an applicant's not giving good eye contact in that interview, when the question's directed at them, if they're looking down at the table or at their hands or somewhere else in the room, that is going to cause a hiring manager to think twice about hiring that particular person. So make sure when you're practicing, again on film, you're directing your eyesight at the camera, you're smiling, you're using proper tone. It's a great way to see yourself. The last tip I have here is a coach. So I think I know a coach somewhere around here. But if you're not hiring an actual professional interview coach like myself, have a family member, a friend, ask you questions in some sort of mock interview environment, whether that's sitting at a dining room table, looking the part for the interview, sitting at a desk. Have them pick up your flashcards, ask you questions, and critique your responses. That is a perfect way to put icing on the cake in terms of your practice for the interview. So, recap, write out your answers, practice out loud, use flashcards, record yourself, and get a coach or use someone to put you in a mock interview to practice your responses in that fake interview setting. That will absolutely set you up for success in the interview. It'll bring that stress level down, build that confidence up, and next thing you know, you're rocking your interview and you're hearing the words, "You're hired." So, at the end of the day, like I always say, thank you for watching the interview. If you like what you saw here, please like, share, comment. We respond to all comments. I've listed additional videos that I've recorded in the past below that will help with your preparation towards practicing to get ready for that interview. As always is a link to my practice interview ebook. It's a great free resource. Download that right away. Since we're talking about practice, at the end of that ebook are actual sample interview questions. You can use those questions, take them, you can practice writing out your response right in the ebook. You can take those questions, put them onto flashcards, and practice that way as well. It's a great resource, takes the guesswork out. It's right there, it's free. Why not? The other link you're going to see below is the My Interview Accelerator Workshop. It's a step-by-step approach as to how you prepare for your interview, starting with your cover letter, your resume, skills identification, the different questions you can be asked, how to answer any interview question, and how to avoid all the pitfalls and landmines that applicants find themselves in. And you can avoid all of those because I'm going to identify them for you so you navigate your way through the entire recruitment process and hear that you're hired at the end of the day. It's an excellent workshop. Don't miss it. So thanks again, everyone. Have a great day. And like I always say, happy interviewing.